and welcome to another episode of the Paperstac Podcast. I am Brett, and this is Rick Allen.
That's me. Is that a cardigan?
I don't know. Is that what this is? I found out the guest outfit.
It's guest, not guest.
Guest.
Yes.
Is it
It's
is
good.
it
No, I don't know. No, it's a pullover.
the outlets. I was the only one who found anything. I went to all these different outlets, and I was the only thing who bought anything the whole trip. So
Good
Cool.
stuff. So what's new, man? What do we got?
So there's something that happens on our site a lot where people will enter in the details of their documents and
The recording data.
yes, the recording data has been a big hurdle for a lot of people. And
So the recording data is all the stuff that you will use if you were going to fill out and do your own assignment of mortgage. There's specific data that has to go in there and it should match the other assignments or the original mortgage. So you want to put that in there just so you want to check it and make sure that everything lines up.
That's exactly right. And so what we want to do here is in this episode is kind of go through the steps of what happens, where they need to do, where do they need to look. So this is also good for you as a buyer too. This isn't just a seller thing. This is as a buyer, you want to know because it's gonna be a real big pain in the butt. We added the step just recently into the timeline where you now have to verify the seller data was correct. So a lot of people think that we do it, and it's like, no, we don't do it. It's the seller that's putting this stuff in, so you need to verify that it's correct. Because if you don't, then I've had a guy just came to me. He came to me. It's like a year later now. He's like, this is all wrong. I'm like, okay, but that's been wrong for a year. I'll do my best to try to track him down, but it's been a couple months.
Yeah, it's important to understand, and I think what Brett was saying is we added a to-do item for buyers that they're going to go ahead and say, yes, I checked the recording data to make sure it's accurate, because a lot of times sellers are just putting in data, not necessarily the accurate data, maybe because they don't know, maybe because they got busy and didn't get it finished. Either way, we're going to go through, right? This is what I'm understanding. We're going to go through and look at this data, and then we're going to find out where is it located on the documents and how can you use it to actually put the correct data in there and make sure that you have a recordable document right off the get-go.
Right. Okay, so what I'm going to first do is I want to show you what this stuff looks like so that you actually know, okay, on the site, where would you have seen this? How would you have seen it? So that's what we're doing now. I'm jumping in. All right. So as you can see, if you're looking at the screen now, this is the step that will be accessible to as a buyer and as a seller when you're going through a deal. It's very important to look at this stuff, understanding what the security instrument type is, contract for deed.
Yeah, this is a big one. You might not think it's that big, but you got to make sure that you have the right security instrument chosen, because otherwise Paperstac grabs all the data from here and then it pre-populates and generates the assignment. So if you have a mortgage and you click on a contract for deed, you're going to get an assignment of seller's interest versus an assignment of mortgage. It's very important to put this one in here. That one doesn't happen often. This one, usually people get this one right most of the time.
Yeah, some of the steps that people do get wrong are last recording date. Now, Rick, when it's last recording date, is that the last recording date if it was the last assignment, or is that the last recording of the original?
It's a great question. And this is actually kind of confusing. If it's a contract for deed, it's the last recording date of the last quitclaim deed.
Okay.
If it's a mortgage, deed of trust, mechanics lien, stuff like that, it's the last, it's the original recording of the original mortgage or deed of trust.
Yeah, and then what I'm going to have to show a different screen eventually. What we're showing you right now is our demo site, and what I'm noticing right now is that on the production data, there's little icons where it kind of says, hey, this is, the difference. Right. So there are some things like that, so we kind of break it down a little bit better for you, but
so let's look at some of these
dummy data.
Yeah,
so,
the important ones here. Borrower name, this is important to look at.
Right.
Sometimes somebody will just put in, this one says Joseph Beal. It may be that's what's coming over directly from the servicer if they're linked in to our platform. What you need to look for is sometimes it'll say Joseph N. Beal, a single man. And all that needs to be part of the borrower name because that's what we're pulling in there.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that's being pulled in that's kind of important, or not being pulled in, it is being pulled in from I don't know where this is being pulled in from, but it's just the original lender.
We don't populate that.
Someone put that in there. Okay.
Somebody's populating that, the original lender. It might be National Bank. most likely it's going to be National Bank, comma, NA or something along
Right.
those.
We just had one kickback because it didn't have the comma NA. And I looked at it and I was like, what? And then I was like, oh my gosh, wow.
It's super detail oriented. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it has to be exact. Or these are the type of things that if this was wrong and it got recorded, that a lawyer on the side of the bar, if they were going through all the documents, they could call these out and say, look, this is what is it?
Invalid
or unattestable, whatever it is. Yeah. And the origination date.
Most people get that one right.
That one's original balance. You hope they get that one right.
Yeah, they get that one right. APN, parcel number. That's 50-50. Instrument number, they can miss that one. Book and page, usually if it's there, it's there. This is one of my favorites. Legal description, too long. Somebody really wrote too long. So you need to be able to put the actual legal description in there. Sometimes it's long. We can show you some tricks on how to actually get the legal description.
Yeah.
You can oftentimes put it as a Schedule A. Or
good Schedule A. So one of the
Exhibit A.
One of the ways I've seen done is because you can take it and kind of hodgepodge it on. So you take the original one, screenshot it, put it on a blank document inside of the PDF, like Adobe Acrobat, and you don't have to copy it because sometimes they're like this long. The other one that's really cool is this. Mike came up with this one. Is that there's a way on your camera.
Well, I don't know that Mike came up with it. I think Mike found the thing.
Oh, Mike found the thing to scan it.
Yeah,
and then was like,
I used it for the.
Was that what it was? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. Sorry, I got that he did.
It's fine. I don't need it. It's.
I thought that Mike did it. I'm sorry, but there's a way that you can do it on your camera where you can put your camera over the text and it'll grab it, and then I've done it where I throw it in the Slack. But actually, if you just copy it to your clipboard, a lot of times if you have a Mac, it'll show up on your clipboard on your computer as well.
Yeah.
And that way you could just copy and paste, and it's a done deal. So
what it does is your camera and your phone will analyze whatever documents in front of you. It'll grab the text, and it's usually pretty accurate. So once you grab the text, you just hit copy, and then you can email it.
It's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool hack type thing. All this other stuff is being pulled in from just the stuff that's already known from the vesting profile. The signer's name, that's whoever the seller is. Signer's title, if they're a president, CEO, whatever. And then, the assets.
The rest of that stuff they usually get right there is pretty good.
Right.
The biggest issues we see are the borrower name not being done correctly,
mm-hmm.
the legal description.
Big one.
That's a big one. And the bank.
Last recording date too.
Last recording date. So
last recording date. So
let's go take a look on where we can find all that stuff.
Okie doke, we can do that.
All right, so let's take a look at this mortgage. This one here this is a good one. This is right here in the state of Florida. If you can look right up here, you're getting everything you really need, right? You've got a Scambia County, you've got the instrument number, you've got the date it was recorded. Shoot, you've got the time, we don't ask for that. BK, that's the book. Page, you've got the page number, 111 through 118. So you can find a lot of the stuff you're looking for right on the original mortgage. Some of the stuff you want to look down and look at. The mortgagor, Christopher D. Williams and Shonda Lynn Williams. Husband and wife. See that right there? Husband and wife. Important to have that in there. The security instrument is given to, and then here goes the long bank name. Mortgage Electronic Registration Systems, Inc., MERS. MERS is a separate corporation that is acting solely as nominee for lender and lender successors and assigns. Okay? So, this is a little bit awkward. You're like, okay, well, what is the actual lender? Let's go look at the assignments. That's where we're going to find out, okay, what are on the corresponding assignments? Here's the one that goes directly into our company. And it will say in here, you see where it says Christopher D. Williams and Shawanda Williams, husband and wife, to Mortgage Electronics Registration Systems, Inc., MERS, as nominee for Taylor Bean and Whitaker Mortgage Corp. So that's really probably what it is. Is there another one in here?
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay, here's another one. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking through the chain of assignments to verify all the data that I think is true. And usually if there's more than one assignment, 3, 4 assignments, especially if it's a legacy loan or something that's been originated by, a big bank, the assignments are going to be the place to go to find it. So let's make sure this one's got everything where it needs to be. The beneficiary, Mortgage Electronic Registration Systems, Inc., as nominee for Taylor, Bean, and Whitaker Mortgage Corp., its successors and assigns. Okay. Christopher D. Williams and Shondalyn Williams, husband and wife. They've got that there. The mortgage date, 6/16/2008. They got that nailed. $89,789. We didn't look at that, but it's right there. Book, page, Escambia County, instrument number, boom, boom, boom. It's all right here. Nice. All you have to do is just go look at the prior assignments. That's where you're going to find 99% of your information. It takes so little work to do it.
That's interesting. Anything else I should know about this on these assignments and stuff?
For that, no. But if you're going through verifying, looking at the chain of assignments, you should be able to track the original mortgage lender and follow that assignment as it gets transferred to the next person.
Right.
And then when that assignment or when the loan is sold again, you should be able to look and compare the name on the next assignment to the person that just purchased it and make sure the person selling it, the company, it's spelled exactly the same. Right? Because sometimes what will happen is you'll have intercompany transfers.
Okay.
And they'll during the crisis, a bank was going under and Bank of America came in and absorbed them. Or Chase Home Lending sold a loan internally to Chase Lending Squad 3. And but there was never an internal transfer. There was never an assignment recorded. So you just got to make sure that every time the loan has been transferred, there's a corresponding assignment. Right, but that's for due diligence. That's not for what we're talking about here. That's a whole nother.
That is a whole nother thing, but also too, just so they know, how do you we just pulled up a bunch of documents. How do we know? How do we find which one's the first one? I mean, besides the mortgage, and then
that's your starting point. The mortgage is your starting point.
And then you find who that sold to, right?
Right. So you go through, and I don't know who is this one. Who's the seller on this? Selene, right? So are these them up here? Usually whenever you're going to get all the documents, right? And you request the copy of the collateral file and you go through until you find the one that you're looking for.
And then put them in order.
And then you put them in order and you track the changes.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, wow. And so all this is used to put into the seller data, which they should be able to find from all the assignments.
They should be.
Most of it. And if it doesn't have the assignment, it should be on the original. If the original was recorded.
Correct.
If it wasn't recorded, you put in A.
What do you mean?
Like if they don't have a book or page.
If it's a mortgage, a deed of trust, most of the time a contract for deed, land contract, it's going to be recorded. Not every county in the state or in the country has book and page as something. They go by instrument number. So Florida does book and page. If there's no book and page, if you go through and review your assignments and you can't find a book and page, and you look at the mortgage and there's no book and page showing in the recording stamp, just put NA.
What is that sometimes I remember you said a long time ago, sometimes the stamp might actually be on the back of the page if there's no recording stamp.
No, that's not for this. That's for if you're looking for through the chain of allonges or the chain of transfer stamps. Sometimes they'll run out of, on the signature page of the note, they'll run out of space and they'll flip the note over and stamp it on the back.
Interesting. Okay.
So.
Well, this one's kind of deep. Maybe let's put some hype music to it so it's a little really exciting. Well, cool. We'll do the other ones, maybe the assignment ones next, the allonges. It'll be another video. I guess that's not as important as the assignments.
The allonges are important, but it's the same thing. You want to go through and you want to look when you're looking at the recording data. If you make sure that everything is accurate on the assignment when you're putting it in, or you're putting the stuff in for the recording data, you're pulling it off the assignment. It'll be accurate on the allonge because we pull all that data from the same stuff.
True. Okay, I forgot about
So
that.
we don't have to do it. Now, what we can do is we can go look at, we looked at a mortgage here. We can go look at deeds of trust or contract for deeds and dive in a little bit. That'll get a little bit tricky, but at least the contract for deeds stuff can. But it's not terribly difficult. We'll be far better prepared for that one.
It's always fun. All right, then.
You believe that, right?
Yeah, it's totally his fault. So we'll have it ready to go for next time. So again, of course, if you have questions, so do I. You can put them in the comments below, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
See you.